My name is Alina. Primarily, I use TikTok. Over time, it has definitely catered towards exactly what I like to be interested in and watch all the time, rather than, like, Instagram just shows me a whole bunch of people that I go to school with, whereas TikTok I get to watch cats all day. I definitely think it has declined in some ways, but I think it also has benefited me in others. So obviously TikTok has a whole bunch of different sides to it, and like I mentioned, the algorithm caters differently towards different people. So there are definitely some videos that I see of girls that fit the very stereotypical image, and seeing that can definitely have its negative effects on my mental health, as well as my attention span has definitely gone down in my day-to-day life. I feel like I can't really focus on other things as much because TikTok loves to give you that serotonin boost. But it has benefited my mental health because I feel like, as for TikTok having different sides to it, I've been able to reach a broader gay community, so I can see people's perspectives and their struggles and how they deal with things in life through that. Sure, because you get to see people from all over the country and all over the world sharing their own experiences, whereas the community within itself is so small. So take like Worcester State, for example, the LGBTQ community is relatively small, and I don't get to interact with people as much as I would be able to on TikTok. For sure, definitely when people post videos, you can easily tell if they're posting towards the male gaze versus the female gaze. They present themselves in an entirely different way, and it also feeds into that stereotype of women having to be beautiful and skinny and like blonde hair and perfect makeup. It definitely feeds into that stereotype that women need to be a certain way to be seen as beautiful. I try not to let it. I try to, look in the mirror and say, like, you're fine just the way you are, but it's definitely very difficult to have that mindset and to not actually care about anything. It definitely affects me, and even though I try not to, I still go back to that thinking of, I have to be blonde, I have to be thin, I have to do this, that, and the other thing to be seen as beautiful in today's society. So I feel like specifically with ads on social media, they're definitely catered towards our generation. So it makes you feel like you need to buy certain products as well, and there's like this whole capitalistic society that corporations feed into to try to get you to want to be more like that certain stereotype, so you buy products that will make you feel pretty or make you feel thin. And I feel like that's also very detrimental to people's mental health. For 100%, I really love makeup, and I feel like that's a huge way that I express myself. So I've definitely purchased a lot of products, like beauty products in general, whether it be like makeup or skincare products, just because people on TikTok said they really liked it. I definitely feel like I have some sort of body issues, whether that be a medical diagnosis, no. But it definitely makes me look at myself differently, and obviously my whole life I've been like really skinny and I struggled to put on weight, and yes, at one end of the spectrum, like being a skinny, pretty girl is fantasized about women of all other different body types, but for me, that has been kind of like my struggle in not being able to gain weight and feeling like I'm not curvy enough, and that just being thin isn't good enough for society, that I need to then have curves in other places, and that definitely has taken a toll on my mental health as well. Sure. I mean, you look at any influencer, Kim Kardashian, like some of the other influencers on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the social media platform may be, girls alter their bodies. They either naturally go into the gym, they specifically target muscle groups like the glutes to try to grow those, and then they get procedures done to enhance their breasts and their glutes, and also Photoshop, as if enhancing themselves medically and physically wasn't enough, they take it to another level to try and really accentuate those like curves. and it creates a false reality for girls.
Yeah.
Because it's really not attainable for everybody, you know. If you want to do it naturally and go to the gym, it takes hours and hours of dedication, you know. It's borderline an eating disorder. In a lot of cases it is an eating disorder to try and like bulk and cut, and then you take it to the level of like getting surgeries, and that's like really expensive and highly unattainable for a lot of people. I think like the biggest part of even diving deeper into the LGBTQ community on TikTok is the stereotype of, you know, masc and femme lesbians, and, you know, masc goes with femme, and they both have to present themselves in a very specific way. And also along with that, you know, being a femme presenting lesbian, I feel like my sexuality isn't as valid. So yeah. So I feel like although I am part of a bigger community and like I am able to find a safe space, there are also a lot of downfalls to that space, and if you're not the stereotypical version of something, you don't, like, you still don't feel as seen, if that makes any sense.
I totally, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so in the sense of there's like a whole lot of videos of content creators taking advantage of like the, oh, I'm gay but I don't look gay, here's a list of things that you can do to make you look more gay, and they'll list off a whole bunch of different things, and it's like, oh, if you are hyper feminine and love to wear a lot of bright colors, you know, hyper femininity is always a sign of gayness, whereas I kind of fall somewhere, I feel like, in between. Like, I am not super hyper feminine, but I'm also not masculine. I'm just kind of, you know, very straight presenting, and I feel like a lot of times that gets misconstrued as like, you don't look gay, so you must not be gay. And the other side of that also is not just the gay community, but when those videos, you know, reach the male gaze, and there's always like a whole bunch of comments on people's pages saying, you know, like, I could change that for you, and there's always that side that is very detrimental to people's mental health when they don't believe that feminine lesbians can exist or bisexual women can exist. There's a very particular group of people that believe that they could change someone's mind. I think that's also plays into the masculine and feminine roles as well. The male gaze affects me in my everyday life because at one end of the spectrum, I do want to be attractive in the eyes of females, but I also want to be attractive in today's beauty standards, and today's beauty standards are through the male gaze. So I do find myself, you know, wanting to put an outfit on that is more catered to the male gaze just to fit into today's societies of beauty standards.